Adam. I don't know if you remember that conversation.
I do remember that conversation, sir.
Yeah, incredible conversation we had is, how do you measure a man? Like, what is a man? If I ask you what is a man, not the chromosome man, not the funny stuff that we're talking about.
What is a woman?
No, I'm not talking about that.
Just look at fucking my Adam's like, oh man, it's on.
I'm talking about how do you measure a man? Wouldn't you look at a man and say, man, that's a man's man? What does a man's man need to do to be a man? There's levels in life, there's levels in wealth, there's levels in sports, there's levels in greatness. There's levels in being a man. And unfortunately, a lot of times, especially nowadays, we are living in an era where the same way women are kind of going through the era of what? I don't need a man. I don't need this. J-Lo just said something last night. She said, after being married 5 times or whatever, I have decided I'm choosing me.
Oh, God.
I'm choosing me. You're choosing you? What are you choosing, bro?
Okay. Can I be the first one to remind everyone about the conversation that almost got Adam Sosnick fired, right? Can I be the first one to bring up the fact that this same son of a bitch right here was the one who was running Adam up the flagpole for bringing up these kinds of topics, this very topic, in fact. I choose me. Right. But if Adam says it, and Adam says all these girls are very self-centered, they have a laundry list of prerequisites. They're very solipsistic. Finding out now, he's going to say, well, it's because you're looking for these hoes in the strip clubs, and you're finding them in the clubs and stuff. You're not going to Bible study. You're not going to the library. You're not going to the museums. That's where you find good quality women. But it's different when Patrick Bet David brings it up and he starts talking.
Yeah, like finding a church girl is going to make any difference. They're all the same.
Share with you guys what Coach K said last night. I think it's important for everybody to be thinking about this. Last night, as a consultant, I'm giving this message to everybody. And I was thinking about the entire time, what should I share? So I gave 150 pictures over the years of what we've done. And I found one of Tom's favorite pictures. I'm telling history, stuff that we've done. We're laughing, we're going through. It's a great story. But one of the things was that all of us in life, yesterday we're having breakfast, the conversation we had with Adam. I don't know if you remember that conversation.
I do remember that conversation, sir.
Yeah, incredible conversation we had is, how do you measure a man? Like, what is a man? If I ask you what is a man, not the chromosome man, not the funny stuff that we're talking about.
What is a woman?
No, I'm not talking about that.
Just look at fucking my Adam's like, oh man, it's on.
I'm talking about how do you measure a man? Wouldn't you look at a man and say, man, that's a man's man? What does a man's man need to do to be a man? There's levels in life, there's levels in wealth, there's levels in sports, there's levels in greatness. There's levels in being a man. And unfortunately, a lot of times, especially nowadays, we are living in an era where the same way women are kind of going through the era of what? I don't need a man. I don't need this. J-Lo just said something last night. She said, after being married 5 times or whatever, I have decided I'm choosing me.
Oh, God.
I'm choosing me. You're choosing you? What are you choosing, bro?
Okay. Can I be the first one to remind everyone about the conversation that almost got Adam Sosnick fired, right? Can I be the first one to bring up the fact that this same son of a bitch right here was the one who was running Adam up the flagpole for bringing up these kinds of topics, this very topic, in fact. I choose me. Right. But if Adam says it, and Adam says all these girls are very self-centered, they have a laundry list of prerequisites. They're very solipsistic. Finding out now, he's going to say, well, it's because you're looking for these hoes in the strip clubs, and you're finding them in the clubs and stuff. You're not going to Bible study. You're not going to the library. You're not going to the museums. That's where you find good quality women. But it's different when Patrick Bet David brings it up and he starts talking about J-Lo and all this shit. Like, now he's going to get into it here in just a second, but I wanted to make sure that I give you this sorry, bird hands. I wanted to give you, I got to wag my finger so I don't do bird hands. I wanted to give you this sort of as the preamble of all of this, because this is the same hypocrite who gave Adam Sosnick no end of shit for saying pretty much the exact same thing here. So let's listen.
I remember that video. Damn. I remember that video very well, very, very well. And I was actually appalled at the way he was talking to Adam. And I'd been noticing like there was like weeks prior to like there was tension brewing between Patrick and Adam. But I felt the way that Patrick handled Adam at that point, like when Adam was basically just giving his opinion as to the facts on ground. Like women today are just not worth it. Like women today are just self-centered. They're loose. They're disruptive. They're like, but PBD because it's always the same thing, man. With all these corporations, man, all these people in positions of power that have something to lose. If you notice, the NFL, the NBA, but even the corporations, churches, PBD. What PBD was basically telling Adam in a nutshell was, don't talk about women like that because they are part of our paying clients. That's basically what this guy did to Adam. Adam was just telling the truth and say, look, you've been married for about for about 10 years or whatever. You don't know what's like out there on the ground. You don't know what the real world is. You haven't dated in God knows how long. And Adam is a single guy. And he's been dating. He's telling PBD, look, this is the way it is. And PBD just completely emasculated him, which I thought was very unprofessional. But the reason why I thought it was unprofessional was not because he was trying to teach Adam a different point of view. It's the fact of why he was doing it, because he had female paying clients that he did not want to what? Alienate. That was the reason. Let's keep going.
Listen some more.
How old are you? This is it. After 4 divorces and 6 different engagements, 56-year-old singer Jennifer Lopez says she's done with marriage and she's choosing herself, right? I know, oh my God,
At 56, who else does she have to choose?
she's so amazing. Good for you for choosing you. Good for you for doing this. There's nothing.
I have been married to a J-Lo type, the black version. She wasn't as cute as J-Lo. No, she wasn't as cute. But the corporate type. Been married 3 times. Probably going to be looking for another husband pretty soon. So she's going to be looking for number 4. In fact, while I was married to her, she was praying to God for another husband. Can you believe that shit? She's married to me, her 3rd husband. But she's praying to God for another husband. And the list of prerequisites for this that this man needed to have were 52. She sent me the letter that she sent to God. And do you know what the last prerequisite was? Accept me for who I am. You can't make this shit up, man. I'm trying to tell you. I've been married to a woman that's been married 3 times, man.
Nothing more unattractive than a single woman in her 50s that's wealthy. No one's interested. Nobody is. Maybe a 22-year-old that wants to come marry you and get half your wealth 5 years later, but people are not interested. But this is like this new era. I don't need a man. I can do my own thing. And for men, guess what? Men are.
Sorry, wasn't Adam Sosnick saying exactly the same fucking thing like
He
3
was.
weeks ago, 4 weeks ago?
He was.
I don't need a man.
He was.
Was he not saying, well, maybe I'm paraphrasing, but was he not saying something very, very similar to that, Pat? But when you make the case, it's okay. But when Adam doesn't, he's risking his fucking job.
Screw you. You want to do this? I don't want any responsibilities. Don't give me any responsibilities. I'm going to choose me too. So who wins? You know who wins? The enemy wins. Who's the enemy? The enemy is another country. The enemy is another denomination. The enemy is another philosophy, ideology that doesn't.
Oh, so if we can bring this into religion and spirituality, then it's all good. Okay.
Match with the Western ideology that became the greatest country in the world. It doesn't match with freedom of speech. It doesn't match with freedom of assembly. It doesn't match with freedom of religion. It just doesn't. So men are sitting there, they're going on a strike. Screw you. I'm choosing me too. Now what? And so neither one of them are right. So the whole idea of men, we measure men based on more responsibilities they carry, what they do for their family, what they do for their kids.
No, we don't, actually. This is the same guy that interviewed Andrew Tate before he even knew he had secret kids. This is the same guy who jumped and flew his happy ass and a full video team out to Madrid to interview Andrew Tate when he thought he was the coolest fucking thing in the world.
What they do for their communities, what they do for their state.
That is an excellent point. What Rollo just said, that's an excellent point. I'll tell you why. Guys, don't all these influencers, quote unquote, you look into their lives, man, these motherfuckers are weak, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you. These motherfuckers are weak. These motherfuckers are hypocrites, dog. Case in point, Andrew Tate. Case in point, Candace Owens. Do y'all, like, Candace Owens, excellent reporter, excellent journalist. She will dig deep. If she wants to find something, she'll dig deep. When it came to Kamala, oh, she dug deep. When it came to Obama, she dug deep. I mean, she unraveled so many different things. I mean, she dug deep. But I noticed when it came to Andrew Tate, when she was interviewing him one-on-one, she just let this motherfucker just slide. She just trying to justify everything he did. When the motherfucker on screen said, I pimped women. This is how I did it. She didn't say any of that. She didn't question him at all. She just let him slide. Well, it happened 10 years ago and we don't expect you to be the same person. Just let this motherfucker slide. I was just like, what? What a hypocrite. Same thing with this dude, PBD. He's saying the measure of a man is the responsibility you have and how you provide for your family, this and that. Okay. This lets me know that he's got it wrong. There's only one measure of a man. Just one. Just one. Does he fear God? That's it. That's the true measure of a man. That's it. Does he fear God? Because if you fear God and you acknowledge him, that follows everything else. There's certain things you just won't do. For this guy to travel his ass all the way across the ocean to go interview fucking Andrew Tate? Are you shitting me? Andrew Tate? The guy was on camera literally saying all the things he did to women. Literally. I keep trying to tell you guys, there are 4 new gods of this world. 4 new gods. Sex, attention, money, power. Those are the 4 new gods. That's it. Those 4. Sex, attention, money, power. Those 4. That is what Andrew Tate represents. Sex, attention, money, power. That's it. And for this guy, established guy like this, to fly all the way across the sea to go see, and I watched the interview. They all over there smoking cigars and this and that, blah, blah, blah. This lets me know something about him. I don't believe he is all that is cracked up to be. He looks a little bit too polished. He likes to look polished. There's some hypocrisy in him that I'm starting to detect. Let's keep going.
For their country, for their church. That's a man's man. There's layers to it, right?
Sacrifice. There it is. It's all about sacrifice. Who gives up the most? Who can bleed the most? Who can give up? Who has the most to give? It's always, especially for tradcons, it's always based on you're only a real man if you kill yourself. You're only a real man if you martyr yourself. You're only a real man if you if you put off all of your anything that has to do with you, if you in any way think about yourself for whatever reason, that's why they love this. That's why he loves this narrative. I choose me, and she's very selfish, and she's very solipsistic, and she's she's J-Lo. Okay, we got it. Thanks. But the thing is now you're making this counterbalance or this counter argument, let's just say, based on what? Based on sacrifice, based on martyrdom, based again on responsibility. Didn't you just say that? But the responsibility without authority is what, children? That's right, slavery.
So last night I talked about the 6 levels we all go through. Number 1 is we're lost.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, somebody finds us and believes in us and says, hey, I believe in you. I think you can do X, Y, Z. Maybe you find God. Maybe you find church. Maybe you find a good influence in your life. Number 3, you finally commit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to choose to change my life. Number 4, lifestyle changes. You're living a better lifestyle. You're living in a better place. You have some money in the bank.
How convenient. That sounds a lot like the epiphany phase, right?
You're feeling confident. You're feeling good about yourself. And then phase number 5, if you can skip it, good for you. Phase number 5 is when you get bored, when you get entitled, when you get ungrateful, when you forget about all the people that helped you. Like, no one helped me. I did all this for myself. And then finally, hopefully, you go to phase number 6, which is choosing legacy, choosing history, choosing to do something big with your life. And Coach K is speaking on stage. I'm listening to this man, walking up. Him and I are talking, and I'm, if you ever see me taking pictures with Guy, I'm touching his shoulders. I'm like, holy moly, Coach K, you got some traps. It's like, who the hell?
I think you guys need to have this put into perspective for you. This is the same guy, and I could show you the video too. This is the same guy that in his study or in his office area of his $25 million mansion that is on the coast of Fort Lauderdale that has its own slip for a yacht. This guy is the same dude that had a mural commissioned. And on that mural are the great thinkers of the world. One of those happens to be Tupac Shakur. Okay. The other one was Albert Einstein, Abraham Lincoln, some F1 driver he idolizes. I think JFK is on there, maybe Teddy Roosevelt. Basically, like all the great thinkers of the past, last century and this century, right? And he would include like some rappers and stuff on that. And in the middle of that is him, painted as if he is like one of the great men of the mighty men of the wisdom of the ancients, right? That would be like me, Kyle. That would be like me having me painted in the middle of Randy Rhoads, Eddie Van Halen, let's see, Jimi Hendrix, Lemmy from Motorhead, now Ozzy, Randy, all these people all these great guitarists, over the years, and then wanting everybody to believe that I am on par and I'm rubbing elbows. I am within the peer group of all these magnificent guitar players over the years who are of yesteryear. Imagine me doing something like that. You would probably hack up in disgust if you've come to discover that I had some mural hand painted commissioned by an artist to go and aggrandize myself to such a degree. All right. So I wanted to point that out because this is the same guy who's going to tell you what it is to be a man. Now, this is a guy responsibility and civic duty and honor and respect. Really what he's talking about is respectability. I mean, we can break this down to respectability. It's on a hierarchy. It's based on affluence. It's based on status. It's based on respectable. What do you do that makes you respectable? Okay. This is the same guy who would have just a matter of 2 or 3 years ago would have put Andrew Tate on that same fucking mural with him in the center of it. He would have had it. Hey, we got a little room over here. Can you put Andrew Tate in that? Can you put Donald Trump in there too with us? Right. It's that degree of just fuckery. There's no other word but fuckery. And this is a guy. It gets to a deeper point here, and the deeper point is this: while it's great to talk about what makes a man respectable, because that builds male dominance hierarchies. Basically, what do you do that's respectable? Well, I have a podcast. I have 5 Amazon best-selling books to my name. I got a 6th one coming out. I've got Reignite. I've done.
Okay, so I think you guys get the point, right? All these influencers or whatever they are, like they try to push a narrative about them that is just really, when you dig deep, really isn't true. Andrew Tate, Candace Owens, Patrick Bet David, you name it. They're all fake. All right. They all have some hypocrisy in them. All right. They're all slaves to what? Money, attention, power. They all are. They're just as simple as that. Right. But yeah, man, I just thought this was interesting. The way Patrick has all of a sudden done a 180 when his employee, whatever his name is, said the same exact thing. He said, "No, Patrick, you're wrong." Like, but Patrick, because he has paying clients as women, what did he do? He turned simp. That's what he did. He became a simp for the women, just like any other corporation. And now I just find it funny that now he's done a complete 180. And this lets me know that he ain't got no heart, because if he had heart, he would have said to his employee, "Hey, look, I'm sorry, man. Hey, look." He would have said that in front of everybody. He embarrassed him in front of everybody. You should have the balls to apologize in front of everybody as well. But he didn't. He tried to kind of gloss over it. Try to take command of the situation. Fuck that. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Hey, win today in the United States, man. I'm glad that PBD is starting to see it. I mean, he should have already known this, but I guess better late than never. Better late than never. But I just don't like the way he had to put that dude through. He put that. I mean, he really emasculated him. I was just like, fuck, this is pretty bad. Anyway, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let me guys know what you guys think. Peace.